No matter if you are into story games, like to play racing games on your sofa, or plague yourself with competitive gaming, Linux has got you covered. Gone are the days of desperately searching for native Linux games or spending hours fixing issues. Thanks to compatibility tools like Proton, which allow you to run Windows games on Linux, as well as many other excellent programs that provide similar functionality for non-Steam games, you can now usually just install the game you want, press play, and it will work right away. Okay, for most games at least. But do you really need a gaming distribution like SteamOS or Bassett for all that? No, not at all. In today's video, I'm going to show you my personal gaming setup on Linux, which distribution and desktop environment I use, and how I manage all my different game launchers and games. Let's start off with my hardware. I currently use a Tuxedo Stellaris Slim 15 Gen 6 laptop with an AMD processor and an Nvidia RTX 4060. This is a less powerful system than my old RX 6800 XT desktop, but it allows me to do my work, which includes editing videos of course. In terms of gaming performance, I deemed it good enough. I play all my games at 1440p, usually refrain from using FSR, DLSS or other upscaling and frame generation technologies, and it does a pretty good job with all my titles. Or at least I haven't found one yet that was difficult to play on this machine. So, which distro did I go with? There are countless gaming distributions out there that I could have used, but honestly I just chose Fedora with the GNOME desktop environment. Yeah, I know, I did a whole video on my hybrid graphics problem where I switched to KDE Plasma for a while, and another one where I kind of fixed it, but as of right now I'm actually back on the default config. I still have Plasma installed, but right now I just use stock GNOME. Oh yeah, and before anyone asks, without variable refresh rate by the way. Now, why Fedora? Well, honestly, because it just works and is really easy to set up, despite many claiming that gaming distros are easier. The hardest part was probably the Nvidia driver, and by hardest part I mean opening up the software store, scrolling down, selecting it and installing it. Yeah, I'm usually playing with mouse and keyboard, but do occasionally use some controllers as well. Some a bit more exotic than you might be used to, but more on their configuration later. Let's talk games. As a typical PC gamer, I try of course to get as many games on Steam as I can. An advantage for me, since on Fedora you can just download it from the software store, log in and start downloading and playing games right away. Proton, the compatibility layer to run Windows games on Linux, is nowadays pre-enabled, and last I checked, set to Proton hotfix by default. So if a game were to break randomly, it usually gets patched quickly, within a few hours or days at most. And I don't have to do anything really. And it is kind of rare anyway though. So yeah, setting up Steam is kind of like the simplest thing to do nowadays. Not really all that interesting, but what about my other games? Yeah, I'm one of the unfortunate ones who did not stick exclusively to Steam, either because there was a platform sale and it was cheaper elsewhere, or because at that time it was just exclusive to the publisher's personal store. What about those? Well, a long time ago I just used Lutris. It worked fairly well, but I discovered that if Lutris runs into a problem, which happened to me once in the past, then all my games are affected. So nowadays I like to use Bottles instead. Bottles allows me to create individual environments for each game launcher that can each use different Proton or Wine versions, install additional fixes, like when I had to manually install the WebView 2 dependency for the Rockstar Games launcher, and if I want to delete all my games and dependencies, I can just delete the whole bottle. Bottles is really great, especially since it comes with a runner selection that includes many popular third-party versions of Proton and Wine, like Proton G for example. Some programs are already available for a one-click installation, but you can also add others, similarly to how you would install an application on Windows. And then there's of course Dolphin. No, not that one. This one, the GameCube and Wii emulator that I used to play my old games that I ripped with my Wii a few years back. It's just a more comfortable experience to actually play these games at a higher resolution, instead of being stuck with 480p through an HDMI converter. Now, before we get into my experiences over the past couple of years, let's also quickly talk about my peripherals. Keyboard, pretty basic, no configuration options, so it's just plug and play. Mouse, the Logitech G303 Shroud Edition, and I also have a G305 and G Pro Wireless if you're interested. Because of the onboard storage, I used to configure these mice once on Windows and was just done with it. But nowadays I actually like to use Piper, a mouse configuration tool that also writes directly to the onboard storage. It's not perfect. Some mice need to be connected via cable to show up, and not every brand is supported. But now I know that, and the next time I will buy a gaming mouse, it will definitely play a role in my choice. Controllers. Quite basic. It's an old Xbox One S controller, which I connect via Bluetooth. And then there are, of course, my Wii remotes with a sensor bar. That one actually used to work better on Fedora 43. In Fedora 44, something changed. Tighter security led me to create a so-called UDEF rule. But yeah, I didn't really investigate this any further. There have been reports of similar issues with similar products, dating all the way back to 2017. So I don't really know if the fix is required anymore or not. Just try it. Alright, let's talk about my overall experience. It has been flawless, with some issues, but they are not huge issues. For me, I mean, okay, in all seriousness, Linux's capabilities to run Windows games was a major driver for me to switch to it even all those years ago. So what is it really like? For Steam games, pretty easy. Like I said, install Steam, install games, play games or don't play games if they don't work, like if they're anti-cheat protected and not Linux enabled. If a problem arises, you can check ProtonTP to see if someone managed to get it running, or if it is an anti-cheat problem, check out Are We Anti-Cheat Yet? A great platform to validate the current state of a game. For other game launchers, as a beginner, I would say it depends on what tool feels right to you. Bottles can be very intuitive, but only if you don't overthink it and don't get overwhelmed by the configuration options, which, spoiler alert, you usually don't need to adjust. In this case, I would just say just look up how to install third-party game launchers and go for the solution that looks the easiest to you. Or you just search your software store for Windows and check out the programs that come up. It's generally not that hard to get other game launchers running. What about gaming performance? Well, on a desktop, it's usually not a big difference when compared to Windows. Nvidia GPUs tend to be a bit slower, but not by much, and it also heavily depends on the game, so it is not always easy to determine. But on laptops with hybrid graphics, as demonstrated in another video, the choice of a desktop environment could matter if you really want to squeeze out every drop of performance. Is that a problem? Not really. Like I said, I just play my games on GNOME again and didn't even apply the primary GPU fix to preserve mobile battery life. But especially if you're coming over from Windows and are benchmarking it for the first time, a difference like this could throw you off at first. Yeah, whatever, it's still really good. Now, my use cases are really simple, of course, and I know many people that also like to configure the sound of their headsets, use steering wheels with force feedback that require special drivers, or like to equip their PCs with dynamically adjusted RGB lights, which automatically adjust based on the content on the screen. While Linux does offer many tools for those use cases, what you will not find at this moment are official first-party integrations that are fine-tuned for your hardware. That is something that I want to bring up, so if you're planning to switch to Linux or are just curious about trying it out, then make sure to use the live boot environment that comes with most distribution installers to check if your connected devices are detected. You might not be able to play games in that environment, but generally, if they are detected, the games you want to play are supported and they are not blocked by anti-cheat, then gaming on Linux is actually really great. To me, the biggest advantage of gaming on Linux is not just that it occasionally performs better than Windows, but rather that it doesn't get in the way of your experience. No pop-ups, no random driver installations mid-game, no manual updating of different parts of your desktop. It's just much simpler and less annoying really, and I will definitely keep using it. And hey, the more gamers we have on Linux, the more likely it is that official support will happen for it as well. But anyway, what I would like to know now is, are you planning to try out gaming on Linux, or did you already make the switch to it? If so, please let us know about your experiences in the comment section down below. Before I end this video, I quickly wanted to mention that if you want to support the channel and make even better videos, then please feel free to check out our membership program as well as our online shop, whereas each sale helps to support various open source projects. If you've liked this video, then please make sure to show it with a like, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any future Linux videos just like this one. I hope you had a blast watching and that I get to see you again really soon, but in the meantime, all that's left to say now is good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. I'll see you around.